From Caterpillars to Butterflies, episode 41, Your Life is Not a Lottery.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Charlene Dior.
Hey, this is Charlene, your host of the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast, where we talk about all things personal growth. If it can help you grow, we will likely be covering it right here on the show. And this week, we are talking about the lottery, but not like playing the lottery. We're talking about, are you approaching your life like you would approach the lottery? So one of my, I don't want to say favorites, but a movie that I really enjoyed growing up is called I Like It Like That. My grandmother had this movie. And so it's about this young family, young husband, young wife, and their two kids, and just kind of being just a working class family and struggles and infidelity and things like that. But point of the story is that the father, he plays the lottery every week. He plays the same numbers, and he's been doing it for like 5 years or so. Same numbers every week. There's a scene in the movie where someone says, like, it's got to hit. It's got to hit. And when it hits, it's going to hit big, right? Because he's been playing the same numbers for years. So it's got to come up because he's been consistent and persistent for years. It's got to come up. And when it comes up, it's going to be big. Well, he ends up going to jail. And his wife cannot afford to buy his lottery ticket and to buy a bus fare to go on a job interview because she was a stay-at-home mom. So she doesn't play the lottery. His number comes up and it was like $7,000. Wasn't that big. But anyways, but how many times are we sitting around thinking like, it's going to hit. My time is going to come. I've been working really hard. I've been putting in more hours than the senior people on my team. I've been coming in before them. I leave after them, and somebody's going to notice me. Like, if I just keep being consistent, if I just keep being a harder worker, my time's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be big, right? Or I've done this with my blog. Like, my blog is turning 3 at the end of the year. And for the first 2 years and 9 months, I was thinking, it's going to hit. Eventually, it's going to hit. And when it does, it's going to be big. Like, I was thinking that if I was just consistent, eventually the tides would turn in my favor. And then, like, recently, I was like, hold up. It's going to be 3 in 3 months, and I'm not as far along as I should be. I have been approaching my blog like someone approaches the lottery. Like, if I just keep going, it's going to hit, and it's going to hit big. Maybe you've been approaching like your love life that way. I know in some regards I've done that as well. You know, people always say, oh, you'll meet someone when you least expect it. They lied. Okay, because there have been many times where I least expected it. I when I moved to Houston, I had just got out of a 5-year relationship. I wasn't expecting nothing. I was just trying to chill, have a good time. I didn't mean no love. And so now I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I've got to be purposeful about what I say I want. It's not just gonna hit. I wish it did, but it doesn't just hit. You've got to do something for it to hit. And I think a lot of times the reason why we are so passive and the reason why we chase the lottery or just someone else noticing us is because it's easy, right? There's low investment of money, time, and energy when you're playing the lottery. Like, you could just go and buy you a ticket for like $1 or $2. it's very easy and it's very affordable to get in. You don't have to work very hard to get what you say you want, which is wealth, right? And so a lot of times we're sitting around thinking it's going to hit, and it's because we're not really willing to go the extra mile until you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, this is not hitting. I got to do something. And so you have to turn the boat yourself, because it's just not going to hit all by itself. You got to do something. It is in your best interest to be someone who sets and achieves their goals rather than someone who approaches life like they're approaching the lottery, right? So I did some research, pull up some stats for you. So the odds of winning the Powerball, and this was probably for one particular year or something, I don't know, but what it said was 1 in 292 million. Okay, so you have a 1 in a 292 million chance of winning the lottery, of winning the Powerball. Okay, those are some crazy odds. You have a better chance of being killed by a vending machine, okay, than winning the lottery. Better chance of being killed by a vending machine. I don't even know the last time I used a vending machine, okay? And different reports said anywhere between 44 to 70% of winners deplete all of their winnings within 5 to 7 years. So you could end up right back where you started at the end of all that. But on the flip side, the Harvard Business Review did a study, and they said that 84%, this is huge, 84% of people don't have goals. Crazy, right? No goals for your life. But if you are one of 14% who do have goals in your head, you are 10% more likely to be successful than the 84%. Okay, so just having identified a goal helps you increase the probability of being successful by 10-fold. Okay, now you compare that to 1 in 292 million odds. If you are one of 3% who write their goals down, you have an additional 3 times the chance of being successful over the 14%. All right, so you have better odds at achieving success or wealth or whatever you want if you've, 1, set the goal in the first place, and 2, if you've written it down. If you're just sitting there playing the lottery, waiting for something to happen, you're wasting valuable time, because you could improve your likelihood of being successful by just identifying what you want and writing it down and working towards it. And, there's also stats that say when you have an appointment with an accountability partner or coach or someone, the likelihood of you accomplishing a task increases to like 92%, right? 92%. So basically the point here being is that you cannot have the attitude that you're just going to do that you're just going to approach your life like a passive participant. Like, you got to be an active participant. You can't be like, I'm just going to see what happens, or I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and it's going to hit. It's got to. It's got to. What's the quote about patience? Good things come to those who wait for it. So you're just playing life like you're playing the lottery. And the odds really aren't in your favor when you do that. So you have to have an attitude of saying, what is it that I want to happen? And have a plan in place to go and make it happen. If you want your blog to grow, then you got to start doing different stuff to make your blog grow. If you want to get promoted at work, then you've got to do something different or go somewhere else. You can't just say they're going to notice, and when they do, it's going to be big, right? The same thing with your love life. If you really want to be in a relationship or a good relationship, then you've got to be purposeful and intentional about that as well. You cannot sit on the sidelines thinking that when it hits, it's simply going to hit big. Because the truth of the matter is that it might not ever hit. You've got to get involved. You've got to get engaged. So this episode is short and sweet. Just a quick message to say, don't approach your life like it's the lottery. Like you just play your same numbers every week and it's going to hit. And when it hits, it's going to be big. Be an active participant. Be someone who's determined and diligent, that's moving in the direction of where you want to be. Your life is not a lottery. It's an adventure. It's a journey which requires you to take step after step after step and stop looking for the easy route, because that's what we're doing. We're hoping that someone else will do it for us so we don't have to do it. Or we're hoping that someone else will notice for us so we don't have to have that difficult conversation. But you've got to do the tough thing, have the difficult conversation, ask the man out, ask the girl out, ask for the promotion, or leave the company, or find another team. You've got to do what you've got to do and stop waiting for your number to come up. Put your number up. You get to take your number and put it to the top of the line. You don't have to wait for someone else to pull your number. Your life, your dreams, and your hopes are not the lottery. Okay? This is real business. If you want to love your life, you've got to lead your life. In order to lead your life, you've got to set goals and take action and learn. If you've been taking action on the same thing for a while and it hasn't gotten you anywhere, then you've got to pivot. You've got to try something new, but don't have the attitude that I'm going to sit back and wait and eventually it's going to be my turn. Nobody gives you a turn. You go grab your own turn. Okay? So that's all I have for you today. If you want more on setting goals or slaying goals, last week's episode covered some tips on how to slay your goals. So you can get more tips on how to do that. But this episode was mainly about shifting your thoughts, waking you up a little bit, because I had to wake myself up a little bit thinking that it was just going to happen in due time. So this is just really about you gaining a different perspective, shifting your thoughts and your mindset. But if you want more insights and tips, then listen to last week's podcast and or go to the blog, because I have been doing a slew of blog posts on really accomplishing your goals, reaching your dreams, doing what you've got to do. So as long as you know that you have the driver's wheel, then you can make a lot of things happen. But if you're just trying to sit back and take it easy breezy, hope they pull my number on the lottery, then you're going to have a really hard time just living your life. So that's all I have for you today. Until next time, grow on purpose.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.